Hello everybody, welcome to Erndales. My name is Dale and this is my YouTube channel Erndales. I also have a blog that I write called Erndales and More, and that's on blogspot.com. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. I'm on Instagram as Whatever the Weather May Be, which is what this channel used to be called, and I just haven't bothered to change that name. And I also have an Erndales Facebook page as well. So you can find me on social media in a few places. I haven't done a pod or a video in a couple weeks. I think the last video I did, I was working on a woodland Santa, and sad to say, he's not progressed any further than when I put his beard on 2 weeks ago. He's over there somewhere on a table waiting to be finished, and I will finish him because he is a Christmas present for somebody. I just have been doing other things for the last couple of weeks, so I will show him to you when I get him done, but it won't be this video. So I thought this time what I would do would be more along the lines of a podcast. And I have not done a podcast before. I'm always doing vlogs, and usually my videos are gardening. In the summertime I do a lot of gardening videos. Sometimes I'll take you for a walk, or I'll show you how things are made, or there's a few tutorial type things in my playlist. But I've never done a video quite like this one where I show you what I've been working on, what I finished, what I still have to do, that kind of thing. So this is a new venture for me. Bear with me. I'm going to be as green as anything on this. It's been a couple of really busy weeks actually since my last video. Last Monday we had Canadian Thanksgiving, and so even though we were just my husband and I, myself, were here alone without any family because of COVID, of course, we still had a traditional turkey dinner with all the trimmings. That's what we like to do. So we did that. I cooked a big dinner and we enjoyed it for pretty much the whole week, it seemed like. The day after Thanksgiving was my 65th birthday. So again, we weren't able to celebrate that quite how we anticipated we would, but there's always another time for that kind of thing. Perhaps by summertime or spring, we'll be able to have family around and do a good job on that one. And what else? The weather here is cold, not freezing cold, but it's not too nice. This morning when we woke up, it was -3 Celsius. We have had frost several times. Have no snow yet, but it's coming, and that's not unusual for here. We usually have our first significant snow around Halloween. That's about usually when we have the first big snow. And this morning, my husband and I went for our long walk. We usually go out for a walk every morning, and we go out uptown. We just go out into the country roads and we walk around. And when we left, it was really cold. The wind was blowing, the north wind was blowing, and coming home, my jacket was all full of little flecks of snow. So it didn't stick to the ground or anything. It just stuck to my jacket mostly, but it's in the air. It's going to happen. One of these mornings we're going to wake up and there'll be snow on the ground. So back to what I'm going to do here today. I've got some finished projects, and I think in this video it's just going to be mostly cross stitch and knitting projects that I have been working on the last couple of weeks. So I think I will get to it. Wish me luck. So I think we'll start with cross stitch because actually I've done more cross stitch than anything. And if you watched a few of my videos back, I was showing you or telling you that I was doing a lot of cross stitch pillow ornaments for tree ornaments that I give as gifts, or I put them on packages and things like that. And I started doing these a few years ago, and I find that even though they take a lot longer to do than maybe some other ornaments that I might make, people really enjoy them. And I try and pick patterns that are sort of reflective of the person that I'm giving it to. So I'll just start with a couple. So the first few that I have finished, I used this 2001 special issue of Just Cross Stitch Christmas Ornaments. I got them out of this book here. And there's some really nice patterns in these magazines. They're magazines that come out every year. Just Cross Stitch still has Christmas ornament magazines come out every year. And you can also get them online as well. You can just, get the PDF download of them. But they have some really great patterns in here. So the first one that I finished out of here is this little Wishing You Joy. I hope you can see that. On the back is just a little piece of tartan kind of plaid material. So this one is done on 14 count Aida. I actually have done all my ornaments on 14 count Aida, only because I have a lot of it and it's good for ornaments, and it works up really fast, and I'm trying to kind of get rid of all my Aida cloth before I buy. I want to start doing other stuff besides Aida cloth all the time, and I have a big stash, so it's perfect for little ornaments like this. So that's one that I finish. And another one out of the same book, same magazine, is Joyful Judy. She's kind of a funky, long-legged angel. And I didn't stick to the colors that were in the book. I kind of just use colors that I have in my stash that I want to use up. So I made her pink with some lime green. And I think she's kind of cute. Love her long legs. So that's Joyful Judy. And then there's one more in here that I haven't quite finished. And it's this, The Greatest Gift is Love. And this one will just be a flat ornament. It'll look like that when it's done. So I still have to I just have to put this one together. That's all. The stitching is all done on it. Just need to put it together. So that's the first batch of ornaments. The next one I did is from Better Homes and Gardens Cross Stitch Christmas from 2004 magazine. It's this one here. And these are adorable. There's a series of 5 roly-poly Santas. I don't know if you can see them. There's 2. There's 2 more. The one that I did is this one right here. This one holding the candle. He's sort of yawning and sleeping. I would love to do all 5 of these, and I will do all 5 of these, but for now I just started with this guy because he turned out really cute. He's on 14 count Aida cloth, and the back is just a little piece of red material. So that's one of the 5. I'm not going to be doing, all 5 this year, but I would, this one is going to be a gift for somebody who collects Santas. And I might just make one a year for that person. So that's that book. I have a lot of these just cross-stitch magazines. They have really good stuff in them. The next one is this very tiny little one. It's a little, let's see, it's a little polar bear staring at the North Star there by my finger. And there's green Aurora Borealis, and I think he's sitting on an iceberg. So he's just a tiny little, this one is very, very small. And that one came out of Just Cross Stitch Christmas Ornaments 1999. That's this book here. And these magazines are, there's multi-designers in them, all kinds of different patterns, different styles. You know, they have some Victorian, some more country-ish things. They have things with sayings on them. Yeah, there's all kinds of different things. So there's one more in this book that I'm working on, and that is this little one right here. It's a baby boy, a little angel. He's got little wings. I'm making two of these, one with blonde hair and one with dark hair, for two new babies in our family. So I still have to finish these two. I've just started this one. I haven't gone very far. I'm just working on his hair so far. So that's that book. The next one that I finished is this one here, the Golfing Santa. He's at the 19th hole, kind of cute. And that one comes from Just Cross Stitch 2000 Christmas Ornament magazine. It's this one here. There's lots of beautiful things in here too. And there's another one in here that I'm not quite finished with, and that's this cardinal. I've got a bit to go. I have to just, this goes all the way around the bird, this filigree kind of thing, and then I have to finish his face and outline him. I can show you a picture. If I can find it, of what he will look like. Of course, when you want to find it, you can't. I don't know where it is. Oh, here it is. That's very pretty. This is the one here. That's how that one will look. So that's it for the ornaments. I actually have another finished project for Cross Stitch, and that is this little Tooth Fairy pillow. I got this pattern from a very old magazine. When is the year for this one? May, June 1989. Cross Stitch. It's in this book here. And this is the Tooth Fairy pillow. But I didn't do all this hoo-ha around here. I don't think that in this day and age, there's very many parents that want all this ruffle and stuff like that. So I made mine more plain. I didn't do the money. There's like nickels and dimes, and there's a tooth over here. I didn't do all that kind of stuff. I left all that off. But I did put thank you with a heart on the bottom of mine. And the back is just a little quilted pillow. I just used some scrap material that I had. And here's the little pocket here. So it says, "Dear Tooth Fairy, in this pocket you will find a teensy tiny tooth of mine. So while I sleep, where dreams are made, let's see if you can make a trade." And then I have a little tooth, or not a tooth fairy, but a little fairy charm on there as well. So I'm making another one. This is for those two babies that I was talking about. This is for one of them. And the other one, I'm just changing it up a bit. I'm coloring the lettering. Instead of making it all one thing, I'm coloring the lettering, accenting some of the words. So yeah, this one will be the same, but a little bit different. So that is all the cross stitch that I have finished and all are working on at the moment. I have a lot of cross stitch projects, big projects that I need to work on and finish, but that can come. I have a lot of pictures and things like that. The only other thing I want to do cross stitch related is, these are my really good cross stitch needles, and this is how I store them. And I lost this. I couldn't find it. And when I started to do some of these projects, I didn't have a needle. I couldn't find a needle to suit my soul, but I knew that I had this somewhere. And I had to go through every one of my cross stitch books and magazines. And of course, it was stuck in one of them with a project that I had started. So what I want to do this week is make myself a needle book and put these in there so that I know where my good needles are. You know, you invest money in good tools, but then you can't find them. This is so silly. So that's going to be done this week sometime. So now I guess we go on to some knitting things that I've done. I have a lot of knitting things on the go that I'm not even going to show you here because I'm kind of embarrassed, really. I knit this last year. It's a sweater. It's actually very warm. It's not wool, it's acrylic. I had a huge big ball of this stuff, and I wanted a walking sweater. So I knit one. And actually, I love it. It's very big and stretchy. It's, you know, and it's quite warm. So I use this to go walking in the fall. I just have to put a t-shirt under it. It's warm enough for fall. And then now it's warm enough for in the house, especially up here in my studio, because I keep it kind of cool up here. I don't like it to be too warm. So knitting projects, like I said, I have a lot of knitting projects that are going to take some time. Blankets and things like that I have started. And I have several pairs of socks on the go that I'm not going to show you. But what I have been working on is these little hats. I finished this hat. This is for one of the babies. I know it looks a little on the big side. Actually, it's a beanie hat. And that definitely is going to be too big for a 1-year-old, I would think. I know babies' heads can be quite large, but for now, he could wear it like this, and it would be just fine. So I purposely didn't reverse the stitching on the thing so that this hat will grow with him. He might be able to get a year out of it this way, or maybe even 2 years out of it this way. And then as he grows, he can wear it this way. It's quite stretchy. This is made out of acrylic yarn. Actually, I should have showed you the other thing first, but I'll explain about this yarn later on. And I made him a couple of little mitts, right and left mittens. This, I'm going to put a, what do you call it? A rope, you know, so that it gets fed through the jacket. This will be his first mittens with thumbs. He's only one. And I've started another set of mittens. I haven't finished these. I usually do my mittens in the round, but this pattern that I found was the smallest pattern that I could find, was a flat knit. And so I just did it this way because it is a right and left hand, and that's sort of what I wanted. So those are completed. This one I have to sew, and I have the other one on the needles, which is going to take like 5 minutes. These things take maybe a half an hour to knit. They're so small. So that's some completed projects for knitting. And the other things, well, before I do that, no, I better do that now. I'm arguing with myself. Not a good idea. So the other knitting things I'm doing are these big mittens. They look monstrous, but they're actually fit a man's hand. It's the fiber that I'm using. I haven't sewn them up. And if you can believe it, this mitten and this mitten were made with the exact, and I mean the exact same pattern, same cast-on stitches, same rows, everything. Hard to believe, isn't it? This is a size 2, and this is a size 2. Toddler 2. Goes to show the difference of using a DK or a 6-strand multi-bulky with a really heavy needle. So I'm going to talk about these for right now. So these are considered Cowichan knits. The Cowichan Indigenous peoples are Canadian. They are found on the west coast of Canada in British Columbia, and they do this traditional knit with this really heavy yarn, and they do these the big sweaters. This is 100% wool, and it's not spun. It's like a roving, but it's 6 strands, this stuff. And they do these beautiful patterned sweaters in this. You know, they will have an animal on them, or a totem pole, or, you know, all these kind of things. And they usually have, like on their mittens, they would have maybe a band of some kind of coloring in here. So the reason I'm doing these is I was given a black garbage bag full of brand new white buffalo wool, like this, several years ago by a relative. I don't know, she had gotten it from somebody and never used it, so she gave it to me. And it was really funny when she gave it to me, because I said, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're giving me this. My mom, back in the 70s, when this stuff came out, my mom made every one of her children, adult children, not little children, we were all adults, one of these Cowichan sweaters, outdoor sweaters, big heavy things. You could wear them all winter long. That's how warm they were. And this is what she used, this white buffalo wool. Now this stuff is called White Buffalo, the Canadian yarn, and 6 strands. There's only 8 ounces in this ball. And until today, I did not know that this stuff was made in Brandon, Manitoba, which is the town just an hour from here. Like, how crazy is that? Anyway, I was given this big bag of this stuff, and I was all excited because I thought, oh my gosh, you know, I can make these sweaters and stuff. But then it sort of was overwhelming because there was so much of it. And I'm really not going to make a big sweater for outside here. We don't wear them anymore. And I remember the one that my mom made was quite long, and I didn't want to have the zipper in mine. I wanted to have a tie, and it was very heavy. I remember I was maybe 18, 19 years old when I had one, and I quit wearing it because it was really heavy to wear, and very, very warm. It was almost too warm like if you were in a car or something like that, it was way too hot. You couldn't stand it. And the other thing was, is if you were out and it was snowing and it got wet, oh, it was horrible. So I knew I wasn't going to be doing anything like a sweater with this yarn. And I have this color, which is sort of a mixture of, well, it's this color here, colorway this. I don't know what it's called, actually. It doesn't even have a name on it. And then I have brown. And I have, I don't know where it is, black. And this in a gray. And just this light brown singly without the white tweed in it. So there's, I don't know, 20 packages of all of this. And so it's been sitting downstairs in my doll room, and I've been looking at it every time I go in there and look at it and think, I got to do something with this. I got to do something with this. So just a few weeks ago, I decided I was going to go online and see if I could find a pattern for mittens or hats made with this. And I did find a pattern, and I purchased it. It was a download from an Etsy shop, and I started knitting it, and it was cast on of 26 stitches, and then you did 14 rows. And as I kept going, I thought, wait a minute, that's exactly like that baby mitten. Exactly, like identical pattern to the baby, except that this one was supposed to be done on 4 DPNs, which I don't know where you would get 7.5 millimeter DPN. I've never seen them. Anyway, so I ripped up what I was doing, because I was trying to do it on that the DPN one on 2 needles, and it just, I don't know, it was difficult. So I ripped it all up, and I started using this pattern. And as you can see, this is children's size 2. Cast on 26 stitches, knit 14 rows. Thumb gusset, you knit 4 rows. And then you start with your right hand, you start making your thumb. And that was exactly the same as what I was doing for this. So I just used this size 2 mitten pattern to make this. Now this pattern is from a really old knitting book that was my mom's. Let me see the cover here. Oh, where's the cover? Beehive Gifts and Accessories by Beehive. 65 cents. That tells you how old this book is. And actually, I'm glad I kind of found this book, because it's got mitten sizes from 2 all the way up to men's 8.5. Now, at first, I kind of entertained the idea of trying that 8.5 with this wool. Can you imagine how big those mittens would have been? So that was kind of interesting. And I just wanted to share that with you. This yarn, however, while we're still on these mittens, is horrible to work with. And I'll show you why. I knit Continental, and I wrap the yarn around my finger like this as I'm knitting. And I tend to be quite tight. So if you pull, you know, if you knit like this and then you're pulling, this is what it's doing, because it's not spun. So I had to really learn how to loosen up my stitches quite a bit and not pull at all. And even sewing this together, I've only sewn the thumb, and you cannot pull tight with this. It'll pull right off, like it'll just split. So it's very difficult to work with, but the end product is really nice. So I'm going to be making up all of this yarn that I have now in mittens, and I'm going to sell them. There's a a little boutique in the town next to us where I know these will go like hotcakes around here because there's a lot of farmers, there's a lot of skiers, there are people who do cross-country skiing, there are people who walk, there are people who have rigs of horses who are outside in the winter time with their horses. These will be great. So that's what I'm going to be doing with all of this white buffalo wool. And the other thing, and this is pure wool. It's pure wool. So that's the story of the white buffalo wool. This is very much, I was talking to somebody online, and this is very much like the Icelandic wool. And it very much, the style of knitting is very much like the Icelandic style as well. So I thought I would share that with you. Kind of interesting. But this was a hoot, really, that those two mittens would be used the exact same pattern. That just blew me away. So what else do I have? I'm working on this blanket. It is a subscription. It's from Annie's. Annie's, it used to be Annie's Attic, but it's just Annie's now. And every month I get a package like this with 2 balls of yarn and a pamphlet, and there's 3 patterns in here. This is the one I'm working on right now. I'm on block 14. However, I have received, this was block 25 to 27, so you know how far behind I am. And I'm only on block 14. I only have one more package to get, and then I have all the yarn. So I don't believe that I'll be finished this anytime soon, but I'll just work away at it. It's very pretty. And to be honest, this blanket is going to cost me somewhere around $300 all said and done, which is ridiculous, I know. But I wanted to try it, so I've tried it. I won't do it again. And the other thing is, I'm getting my 3, every one of these kits, I've got all 3 blocks out of one ball. I have another ball to spare, which is where I got the yarn for the baby hat and the baby mitts. That's where it came from. And what it is Premier. It's actually not bad for acrylic. It's Premier anti-pilling yarn. It's worsted weight. And it's very nice and soft. So it works nice for baby hats. But yeah, so this is, I've just started on block 14. I got a long way to go with all of that. And I also have 2 pairs of socks that I'm knitting, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So those are all my finished objects and things that are sort of in progress. But there's more. I have been spending time on the internet, and you know, cheapers, I don't know. Is the internet a good thing or is it a bad thing? I haven't quite decided. Because I'm really in love with 2 things. There's a designer on there who I have to, her name is Claire Garland. Probably some of you already know who I'm going to be talking about. She designs, she's a knitter from the UK, a designer and a knitter from the UK, and she designs a lot of soft toys. And she has designed Peter Rabbit and a deer whose name is White Buck. And oh my goodness, I am so in love with these 2. So payday is coming. Pension check's coming. And I'm going to be ordering the patterns and making them for me, not for anybody else, but for me. They are absolutely gorgeous. And you can go, if you haven't already seen her stuff, she's Dot Pebbles, Pebbles, knits, Her name is Claire Garland. She has an Etsy shop. She's on Revelry. She's on Instagram. Check it out. Oh my goodness. Her stuff is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So that's something that I want to treat myself to in the upcoming weeks. And there's also another blanket that I found in this really old Better Homes and Gardens book. It's 1990. I have so many of these old books, and every once in a while I just sit down and I'll open them up and I'll start flipping through them, and I find stuff that I think, oh, that's probably why I saved that book. I haven't gotten rid of it yet. But in this book, there's a whole bunch of Christmas crafts, but this is what I want to make, is this blanket here. I love this blanket. Can you see it? I hope you can see it. Isn't it gorgeous? It's absolutely beautiful. I want to make that. I'm sort of, my living room is very neutral. There's off-white, sort of a taupey color walls, off-white covers on my couch, and off-white curtains and all that kind of stuff. But now I'm really accenting a lot with red, and it's so pretty. So I'd love to have that over the couch. That would just look absolutely gorgeous. So that might be next year's craziness. And the other thing, this one is cross stitch. I saw this in a magazine and I really like this, but I don't like the gold, and I'm not crazy about the green. I do like all the red, however. So I've decided that I'm going to make one of these, and the reason I like it is because of the 9 squares. I have an old window from a church, and it is the 9 squares, you know, 3 over 3 over 3. And I have it on my wall, and it's on one end of the wall, and I have a nice space where this was right beside it would look really nice. And but I think I'm going to do it, instead of having the greens here, I'm going to have different reds, and then maybe a black in the middle, and then a different red around the outside, and all of the stitching will be different colors of red. So it would be like red work, but not really red work. So I think I'm going to do this for my living room, for something to do. Why not? And then one last thing. When I turned 60, 5 years ago, I asked for something for my 60th birthday, which was ordered from Mary Maxim, which is a mail order yarn place, sort of, from Canada. They're online. You can go and have a look at their catalog on there. And my son bought this for me, and I forgot all about it. I completely forgot about it. I guess I put it in a drawer and never thought about it again. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? It's all felt. And here I have the kit to do it. So I don't know if I'll have time to finish it, but I think I might start this for Christmas. Never know. I might get it done. I've not ever done anything quite like this. I've done things with felt. I've made toys with felt, but I've never really kind of made a big thing like this. So we'll see. That's a maybe. I'll probably start it. So I think that's all I have to share. And it's only 39 minutes. That's wonderful. I thought that it would be much longer than this. I am also still working on a baby quilt. Oh, I don't have it here. It's a stamped cross stitch. Actually, no, it's stamped embroidery that I got from Mary Maxim. And it is Mary Engelbrecht design. It's Mother Goose. And it is so cute, but labor intensive. I've been working on this for quite a while. And it is actually, was meant for that little 1-year-old. I guess he'll still enjoy it, or maybe I'll just have to save it in case I have another child, and give it then. But it is really, really coming along. I'm very close to, well, not finishing really, but I'm probably 2/3 finished, maybe even more than that. So I'm going to try and really buckle down and work on that to get some of that done. And I think that might take me till Christmas to get that completed. So I hope you enjoyed this rambling on about all my stuff. And I hope everybody's staying healthy and well. It seems like COVID is ramping up all over the world. It is here too. And I guess all we have to do is just do all we can to stay safe and stay healthy and hope for the best. So on that note, I think I will bring this to a close. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope I didn't mess up this first podcast. Hopefully I can get a little bit more poised in doing this better, because I've been really paying attention to podcasts now and watching what people do, and they don't do all this stuff that I'm doing. I can tell you that right now, but I'll get there. So take care, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you in another few weeks, hopefully with some more finished projects. Or maybe Santa will be done. There you go. That's a good idea. Finish Santa. Bye for now.